So in today's video, I'm going to be talking about some of the similarities between air traffic controllers and pilots. And yes, this is another in the series ATC versus pilots, pilots versus ATC. So get your pens and papers out and take some notes. And if you're a pilot or an air traffic controller, comment down below some of the similarities that you see in both professions. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, the Pink Aviatrix. Subscribe if you haven't already, like this video and share it if you find it helpful. So first up, both pilots and air traffic controllers love aviation. And this is debatable because some do, some don't. But for the most part, pilots and air traffic controllers both are some type of aviation enthusiast, and they love aviation, they love planes, and just everything related to aviation. The next thing, or the next similarity between pilots and air traffic controllers is that they both work on shifts, right? So one thing to note about aviation is that it never really sleeps. Planes are always flying, and therefore pilots are always needed and air traffic controllers are always needed, right? So we work on shifts. So when you and your friends are in your bed, we are at work, separating planes or flying them. The next similarity between pilots and air traffic controllers is that to become either one, either a pilot or an air traffic controller, you have to do a lot of studying. Listen, look at these books. Look at these books, right? And another similarity about pilots and air traffic controllers is that work stays at work. Listen, unless you own the airplane is parked at the airport and you're gone to your hotel or you're gone to your yard if you're a pilot. And if you're an air traffic controller, the ATC equipment stays in the center, it stays at a tower, and you go home. The only time you take home work as a pilot or an air traffic controller is if you're studying. Like right now I'm going through school, so work comes home with me. Or when I was flight training, you have to be in the books, right? You have to be in books like all the time. Not really, but yeah. The next similarity between pilots and air traffic controllers is that both people are involved in high stress jobs, right? Flying an airplane is a high stress situation, and being an air traffic controller is a high stress situation. And we're not gonna argue about which one is more stressful, but just know say it's stressing. On a more somber note, mistakes both when flying and being an air traffic controller can be fatal, right? So that's something that is very important to consider if you decide that you're going to become an air traffic controller or a pilot. Just know that in aviation can be very unforgiving, so you have to be on your P's and Q's at all times. The next similarity between pilots and air traffic controllers, is that people think you're cool. Simple. Or they think you're a nerd, which kind of is the same thing. Cool nerd. Nerds are cool, okay? The next similarity between pilots and air traffic controllers is that we have weird sleeping habits and weird eating habits. And it can be difficult to kind of try and get yourself on a proper routine, especially if you work rotating shifts, which means it's a different shift each day or a different shift each week. So yeah, there are the things that we have to do to keep ourselves alert on the night shift, for example, and things that we have to do to help us to sleep when it's time to sleep. So yeah, one of the things that I do, I use lavender oil. I try to darken the room, have blackout curtains, things like that when it's time for you to sleep. And when it's time to wake up, you drink a lot of water, try to have healthy snacks like nuts and, fruits and things like that, oats, maybe some tea, maybe some coffee, but not too much, because you have to manage your intake of caffeine because that's not super good for your heart. You take a yeah, so that's another similarity between air traffic controllers and pilots, is that we have weird sleeping habits and weird eating habits. And we also have to be careful what we eat too, because you know, if we're eating foolishness at night, it can lead to weight gain and other issues that we ain't trying to have, right? So yeah, there's that. And another similarity that I've noticed between air traffic controllers and pilots is the levels. You know, there's levels to this, right? So I equate like being a flight data processor to being a student pilot, and then being an aerodrome controller to being a private pilot, and then being an approach controller to being an instrument rated pilot, and then being a, what the next level? Being an en route controller or area controller to having a commercial license, and then being a supervisor to being like a commercial multi-engine pilot, or kind of like that. I mean, probably silly, but that's a good way to compare the two to me, because there are levels in air traffic control and there are levels in flying, you know. Simple comparison, you know, quick maths. Another similarity between pilots and air traffic controllers is the way we talk. We have to use standard phraseology and know the phonetic alphabet and know a lot of aviation related terms and abbreviations. Trust me, there are lots of abbreviations to know in aviation, both on the air traffic control side and on the pilot side. So yeah, the way we talk is a similarity. Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, Delta, Echo, Foxtrot, Romeo. Okay, yeah, I lost it there. Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, Delta, Echo, Foxtrot, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, Golf, Hotel, India, Juliet, Kilo, Lima, Mike, November, Oscar, Papa. The alphabet beat me, but yeah, me know it. Oh goodness. Yeah, so that's another similarity between pilots and air traffic controllers. So yeah, guys, you gotta know stuff. Another similarity is that we both use headsets, right? So air traffic controllers use smaller headsets or handsets, and pilots use bigger headsets. Even though I've seen pilots like with like a little earpiece thing, but yeah, we both use headsets, so that's another similarity, you know, so we can talk to each other. So those are 10 similarities between pilots and air traffic controllers that I have noticed. And yeah, one final thing, one bonus thing that is common to both pilots and air traffic controllers is that the studying never stops. Especially if you're trying to grow in the profession, you're always studying, you're always trying to learn something new, or based on the job that you do, you know, you're taken and trained up to the next level, which is a good thing. Which is a good thing, because you'll always have room for growth and development, and you won't be stagnant in your career as a pilot or an air traffic controller. All right, guys, if there are any other similarities that you have observed between pilots and air traffic controllers, be sure to leave them in the comment section below, and like this video and subscribe. The next